Hi, my name is Diane Greco Allen, and I'm sharing my story to help law enforcement officers understand the depth of mental illness and mental health. So I dealt with my own issues with mental health because I was the oldest sister in the family. I was always, looked up to do things around the house. I had 4 brothers and a younger sister who was 10 years younger than I was. And when she came into our life, my life was changed. And we know that with each additional person that comes into our lives, it changes things. So I was always there for the family when I could be, but they were always there for me. And as I became a nurse and moved on and had 4 children, I ended up marrying a doctor and had 4 children. So it was, a very interesting situation with my siblings because we were the medical people in the family. My youngest sister had a lot of difficulty with what was going on, and she dealt with a lot of issues since she was a young girl, and learning disability type issues. So I also struggled but maintained and did what I needed to do, but my life was very different than hers. And so our relationship along the way became very entangled and very confusing. I began supporting her financially when I needed help. We started paying her to do chores and things around the house. So that became a little bit of an issue. And then it became automatic that we were going to support her throughout the rest of her time in her life. Now, she ended up she was a single mother and had a child. And then things became even more difficult to pull things apart. And so, unfortunately, when she was taking advantage of my mother, we knew that she was taking advantage of her in different ways. She didn't see it that way, and she thought that they weren't supporting her, or that my mother wasn't supporting her because my dad had died. So, down the road, it just became apparent to my brother and I that we could no longer enable poor choices. And she had already taken money from my brother and me through from our bank accounts and with forging checks. So, I started looking as whether or not she was trying to get our attention, or she just felt like she should be entitled to the life I had. And so it was very difficult because I understood it. And to a degree, my brother and I had to make a choice. Now, there were other siblings around, but they removed themselves from the situation and they started off in their own direction. But because we wanted to be there for her daughter, we did as much as we could to be supportive. Unfortunately, she was not in the best health to help her daughter. So, these things became all entangled. And my brother allowed them to live in his household, or it was actually my parents' house, grandparents from 100 years ago. But he allowed them to live there while he paid for, all the money that you have to pay for taxes and everything. So it was about $1,000 a month for about 4.5 to 5 years. So he also had his own place, and then he had another piece of land that was given to him in the family that he sold. So it's all very confusing for some of these situations, very unfortunate situations where there are some of us that were able to be a little bit more stable in life. I'm not going to say what I'm doing right now is as what she's doing is right. I'm just saying that we should respect each other's property, not go over those boundaries, and be very wise about who we are and moving forward. But I had a lot of depression and anxiety from caregiving for my parents, my mom for 18 years. My sister was a part of that, but she was more unstable, so it was more difficult for her. And so, these things have occurred over long periods of time in life. And, so we filed against my sister because we felt it was the right thing to do and for her to protect ourselves. We really did it to protect. My brother did it. We both talked it over and said, just to protect ourselves, we're going to file something against her for the wrongdoing that she did. Now, whether or not this all plays out well is to be seen, because she has been followed up with MHMR. She has a case manager, and she's doing everything she thinks she's supposed to do. And it's been very difficult because her daughter has seen all of what has happened. So I try not to get the police involved, but when there were some physical altercations in the past, and that was further back, when we've tried to, even that out a little bit. And I still talk to my sister. I don't know if that's the right thing to do, but I'm just trying to figure out what's best actually for her daughter. So for those of you that are in the field of, you're a police officer or you're someone who comes to these situations, she threw me on the sofa. I was going down. My brother told me to go down and check in on what was going on in his place. And you have to have all these signed documents, So actually, I was told to leave because I was not supposed to be there. And it was because he asked me to go there, and he knew that something was up, and we knew that she was going through some mania. So, sometimes family tries to do things that are what they think is in the best interest because they know something's happening. But sometimes the people can't be there that need to help her. It's, that quick. So, we've done our best. There were 6 of us in our family, and my sister was the youngest, and she's 10 years younger than I am. So everybody has a different perspective of this well-being issue, and I've tried to do my best. So, and I raised 4 children, so we're all trying to understand how to be as well as we can, understanding our boundaries in life. So this is for NAMI, and this is for the police officers. I thank you for your service and being there for the community when we're in need, because this doesn't just happen between siblings, it happens between partners, and there are situations that we get ourselves into. We emotionally become frustrated with certain scenarios. So, but I do want to thank you for everything that you've done for us, and hopefully moving forward can, smooth things out and let people speak what they need to speak about what's going on without being hostile. Diane Greco Allen, thank you.